What up, B Squad? It is me, JB, and we're here today, you guys, with the season finale, the official season finale of The Real Housewives of Potomac, you guys. This is season 12, no, season 10, episode 17. This episode was titled Karen Comes Home. Before I get into it, if you guys are watching this video or any other video on the channel and you're not subscribed yet, do me a solid favor, you guys. Stop taking me out on this date, having me pay for it at the end of it. You guys know the routine. You can do me that favor by liking the video, also by subscribing to the channel, and also by turning on your post notifications, you guys. And with that out of the way, without further ado, let's talk about Karen's sit down with Andrew Cohen, Andrew Joseph Cohen at that. Yeah, you guys, tell me what you guys thought about it. If you guys watched Karen sit down with Andy, please feel free to tell me what did you think about it. So here's what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna get to you. What up? What up? What up, Chuck? You say be nice to my line, Karen. So here's the thing. I'm actually not gonna go too hard on Karen. Was I frustrated and a little irritated with Karen watching last night? Absolutely. But I was just sitting here a few minutes ago before I came on here. I was having a conversation with myself and I had to think about it. I think Karen is in denial about her being an alcoholic. And I don't think she can freely say that to herself and admit it. But she can admit that she has a problem with prescription drugs, just not the alcohol. Also, what I will say is, so I won't talk about the scene with her, Raymond, her sister Raven, and her son Brandon. Right? I'm not gonna. Actually, I will say one thing about her son Brandon. You can tell that Brandon does not want to be on camera. That was the one thing I noticed about Brandon, because Brandon had that cap on his head, and it was covering his face. I said, Brandon does not want to be on television. For what reason, I do not know, but that was the one thing that I noticed, that Brandon don't want to be on camera. So the so I'm not gonna talk about that, right? Now we'll talk about Karen's wig. So she said that the girls took their extensions out and braided her hair with their extensions. I was like, oh, that's kind of cute. But yeah, will I say I got much from Karen sit down with Andy? No. Just being honest, I didn't. Chucky says she is. And she contradicted herself by helping young women in prison. She did. So let's go ahead and get into it. Because honestly, it was just 30, it was like about 40 minutes of her sitting down with Andy. Because the first 15 minutes of the episode was her getting out of jail, her waving to the people outside of the jail. And then, she got home. She had a conversation with her family. Then Andy came. Andy talked to Ray. He talked to her cousin. I forget what his name is. He talked to Brandon. And that was it. And then, so all of this is a week after Karen got out of prison, out of jail. So keep that in mind as well. You say, JB, that hair thing was nasty. I mean, it was nasty, but it was nasty. I ain't gonna sit here and say that I would want it, but I thought it was nice that the girls didn't want her to go out there looking a raggedy mess. So I was here again. It is nasty because I wouldn't want no hair from nobody else because I don't know if you got lice, none of that shit. So I don't want it. But so with this, we're gonna start up. So we start up with the faithful. Oh, also, if I didn't tell you guys the name of this episode, it was Karen Comes Home. I think that's the name of this episode. So we start up with the infamous footage of Karen drunk with their wig sliding to the back of her head, being Thomas Jefferson's concubine. Ooh, I'm lit. What up, Kiwan? You say, hey, JB in chat. I didn't think you was going to give the grand drunk a minute of your time. I'm glad you. Oh no. So if you guys didn't see, because I said it when I was on really would really be yesterday that I would consider it depending on what Karen had to say. And I felt like and I said if Karen came on her line, I was gonna come on here too. But I really felt bad. I really do feel bad for Karen. Is Karen bald? I don't think she is. Because if you heard Karen when she was talking to Andy, now Karen, Andy was not asking you about being literally naked in jail. He was talking about you being completely stripped down of your wig, your makeup, your lashes, your nails, and all of that stuff. He didn't mean being literally naked, but Karen took it that way. And I was like, Karen, that's not what Andy meant. But hey, whatever. So, do I think she's bald? I don't think she is. I think Karen may have some hair under there. I think the problem with Karen is, like most people, most as we get older, I think some of us struggle with the fact that we are getting older and our bodies change, right? Like with me, I'm bald. Well, I'm not completely. I go bald because of my hair thinning, but I'm not. I go bald by choice, right? But I still do have hair, and then even in my beard is starting to turn gray. Kind of like what Karen says. She, with her being in jail, she hadn't really. And I think that's another thing. When we see gray, we think old, right? So I think Karen has been wearing these blonde wigs because she doesn't want to see her. She ain't trying to look at her real hair and deal with the grays that she has. So I think that's more so what it is. It's a vanity thing when it comes to Karen. You say Karen better get the rights to concubine and create a new fragrance and or candle. No, it's the way the wig was shifted on her head in that video. Well, you must remember season one. Karen got a big ass forehead. Karen has a big ass forehead, so you have to remember season one how her wigs used to sit on her forehead. So I don't think it's that Karen is bald. I think that Karen, no, she could her hair could be thinning, but I don't think Karen is necessarily bald. I just think that again we have to remember Karen has a big ass forehead. Karen got a big forehead. Thank you, King. You say y'all like up the live party people, but yeah, I think that's another. I think that's what it is. Karen Karen's hairline may be receding. That is a possibility. But again, she does have a big forehead. Like we cannot forget that Karen has a big ass forehead. Again, go back to season one and two and remember when hell, go back to season three at the ball part when her wig was sliding to the back of her head. And I'm pretty sure Karen had braids in her hair with that. But that wig kept sliding all the way to the back. So Karen says that, she never watched that footage. And I'm like, Karen, it's pretty obvious that you never watched it. But the question is, why didn't you watch it? And this goes back to what I was just saying a few minutes ago. I think with Karen, it's a whole lot of not willing and ready to accept things. And I think that's the problem with Karen is that Karen is just not at the point where she wants to accept that she's an alcoholic, right? But Karen does reveal to us that you know, that fateful night, she was under the influence of pills and, liquor, alcohol. Cause y'all know y'all saw that bottle of Stella Rosa in the back seat of that car, right? So Andy asked her about the plea deal that people had been talking about that she was offered a plea deal for a lighter sentence. She said that that wasn't the case, but she did say that her attorneys did urge her to accept a plea deal. Now, Chuck, I saw that big ass forehead of Karen's. But she said that her lawyers did urge her to go for a plea deal, but she didn't do it because one, she never watched the video, and she didn't want Ray to watch the video as well. But Karen, that hurt you in the long run. Like, damn, girl. But she said that she was still in a cloudy funk of the alcohol and the pills. And that should have been the moment where you said, let me put this shit down and get some clarity. If my attorneys keep telling me, Karen, it's going to be better that you take a plea deal, then you should have said, okay, let me put down the pills because the pills and the alcohol is clouding my judgment. Let me be of clear mind, body, and soul so that I can make this decision. And I know people were like, why did her attorneys let her do that? Well, I mean, shit. They're representing her. They can't take a plea deal on her behalf unless she says that she wants to do that. And that's not what Karen wanted to do. Chuck, you said contradiction number one. That sounds like she was offered a plea. So it's not a I don't think it's a contradiction. So what she's saying is, I'm sure they did offer her a plea, but Andy asked her about the plea deal for, I think it was the house arrest. So Karen is saying that that is not true. Karen saying that that's not true. I'm pretty sure they offered her a plea deal, but they didn't offer her that plea. I don't think they offered her the house arrest. They may have offered her a lighter sentence because if you noticed later in the episode, she was talking about she expected to get maybe 1 month to 3 months in jail. So I think they did offer her a plea deal, but I think either way it go, Karen was going to jail. I don't think Karen was going to get house arrest. I think Karen was going to jail no matter what. But Karen wanted to fight it, and that's why they gave her that year in prison, in jail, right? So I don't think that was a contradiction. Me personally, I don't think it was. So she said that she only watched the video when she was in rehab, right? And so this is, remember, she went to rehab during the reunion last season, right? So Andy was like, so she was like, and the sentence made sense to her. And Andy was like, he's like, this was before the sentence. She's like, yeah, but I already knew I was going to jail at that point. So yeah. So he was like, okay, so when you watch that video back and you see that you called yourself Thomas Jefferson's concubine, like what goes through your mind? And she was like, she said that it was nuts that she was blackout and drunk and just talking belligerently. You absolutely were, Karen. And honestly, I'm glad that those people, because I mean, my God, that video. Mm-mm-mm. So then Karen also talks about her drinking, right? Because Andy asked how did her family react to it, right? She says that 20 years ago, her kids and even Ray were telling her that she had a drinking problem. And here's the thing, everyone can tell you that you have, which I've never dealt with. Well, I do have somebody in my family that has a drinking problem. And for years, that person would never listen to us. Like, you drink to an excess. Like, you wake up drinking, you go to bed drinking, like, you drink throughout the course of the day. You wake up drinking and you end your night with a drink, right? So they don't want to an alcoholic doesn't want to hear it when you're telling them this, right? They will make excuses and they will deflect, right? Like the person in my family, this person used to deflect all the time when our family would say, you have a drinking problem, right? This person in my family would all like, when me and my little cousin, when we came of age and we used to go out to the clubs and we used to drink, and we would get drunk, but my cousin would tell my grandmother, well, JB and my other cousin, this is her sister, this is her sister. She like, well, when they go out, they get drunk, and we would be like, bitch, we don't wake up in the morning drinking and go to bed drinking. We drink when we go to the club, and that's a different thing. Like when we come home, we sober up, we go get our day started the next morning, and it ain't involving a drink. Or she would used to say like, back like when the soap operas were on, she would be like, "See, white people get up and drink in the morning, girl. That is not an excuse for you. Like it ain't an excuse for them, but it damn sure ain't an excuse for you either, right?" So I was looking at Karen. I was like, you still give an alcoholic who is not yet ready to come to the grips with the fact that they are an alcoholic, right? So when she said that Ray told her to go and that she had a problem, she says that she went to a doctor and that the doctor prescribed her prescription medication, right? And so she says she's been medicating on the medicine and the drinks, right? And then when her parents died, she said she just upped the dosage. And I was like, Karen, do you listen? Like, I don't know if Karen was listening to what she was saying, Because even hearing that is a problem. And I know that these are antidepressants, but you can't get it like, and it's the craziest thing that she can openly admit that she has a addiction to pills, prescription pills, but not alcohol. So it kind of scares me with Karen a little bit. And I pray for Karen, and I hope that Karen, does get the help that she needs, because that's a lot, right? She's dealt with losing both of her parents, and she's dealt with an assault. And that's where I can legitimately empathize with Karen, right? I know what that feels like to lose your parent. I know what that feels like to be abused at a young age, right? I was much younger than Karen was when mine happened. Karen was 19. I was 17 when it happened to me. I'll give Karen some grace and empathy in that regards, right? But I just question, why would a doctor, and I think that's why Karen couldn't speak on the prescription medication that she was on, because it would open her up to so much liability. So I think that's why she couldn't say it. And I had to kind of be like, why can't she say it? But then I had to think about it. It will open her up for liability. Their doctor should be prosecuted if they didn't properly manage her intake. True, I'll give you that, but I think also some of it has to do with Karen. Because I mean, I'll give you guys another story. So my mom used to work for this lady, and this lady was kind of like Karen. She was a pill popper and she was a drinker, right? She and she was so addicted to pills. Like she would run, like they would give her a 30-day supply of pills by the before the end of the, I think like by the 15th of the month or so, those pills were gone, and she would be calling her doctor trying to get more pills so that she can get that high. And she also drank. So when she would take her pills, she would drink as well. So yes, some of it could be attributed to the doctor, but also most of it is on the person, because they give you a 30-day supply. 30, 30, 60, 90, however many days they give you. Because even like with my doctor just gave me a 90-day supply to my blood pressure pills, right? So some of it could be on a doctor, but the onus more so is on Karen, because they can give you the prescription, but it's what you do with it once you get it. But if Karen upped her dosage, she would not run out. Well, you just explained it. Yeah, like, so they can easily get the shit. Like they can up her dosage, but shit, it's up. Karen could also. We don't know how Karen was taking them damn pills. Karen probably could, this is allegedly because I don't know, but like the woman that my mama worked for, that woman took a pill. Like I remember one time we went to the drugstore because she had called her doctor all day trying to get her prescription refilled. The doctor kept telling her no, no, no. But eventually the doctor gave in and just filled the prescription, but he gave her a smaller amount of pills. And as soon as we got back to that house, that woman had her wine sitting right beside her, and she popped as soon as we got in the door, she popped that pill. And I was like, wow. So who knows what Karen was doing? So then she mentions that the night of the accident that, there were issues at home, and that she was running away from those issues that she was having at home. And Andy asked her, so what issues were there? There are issues in the marriage with her and Ray, and then the fact that she and Ray are, don't have the kids, don't live there, right? So, but I'm like, your kids ain't live, because what? Brandon has to be somewhere in his 30s. Raven is almost 30. So Raven and Brandon haven't lived at home for quite some time. But I mean, I get it, when it's just you and Ray. And I think that honestly, maybe that marriage is on the ropes at this point. Maybe Karen and Ray, they had a good run, and maybe now, Karen is realizing with the kids not being there, she's probably now reevaluating this marriage with Ray. So who knows? No, Karen says she upped the dosage, not the doctor. Uh, she, she, the doctor is not supposed to give him. They're not supposed to, but I mean, shit. What can you do if you got a patient keep calling you 24 like all day, back to back to back to back to back? No, you're not supposed to cave in. You're not supposed to cave in, but they do. They eventually like so. Especially so with the doctor and with this doctor that um this was a doctor that this woman knew personally because she used to be a school teacher, so she knew this person. So this was a doctor she knew and that was in her community. So that's how she was able. Now I don't know how Karen was able to get away with this, but if you know somebody, you can get things. So then she was like, she didn't drink and drive, and I was like, Karen, that's a lie. You drove according to these 4 DUIs that you have in the past. You drove you drove 4 times under the influence. So Karen says that she didn't Karen says that she didn't, right? And I was like, Karen, again, you definitely drove 4 fucking times under the influence of something. Then they should lose their license, in my opinion. They should, but again, this is stuff that goes under the radar. Like I said, if you know a doctor, then it's easy to get things under the table. Who the fuck is it that just text me? What was I saying? Moving on. So, she also said that she wanted to escape, right? Oh, so the DUIs, that's where we were. Sorry, somebody sent me a text message that I don't know who the fuck it is. So she said that she has 2 DUIs, not 4. She said there are 4 instances where she was stopped because of alcohol. I was like, well, Karen, that is the same thing. It's semantics. Even if they didn't tack on a DUI, you drove 4 times under the influence of alcohol. So this is where Karen said that she thought she would have been, in jail maybe 1 month, 3 at the most, right? I was like, you probably would have been in that if you had taken a damn plea deal. But okay, girl, whatever. So then Andy asked Karen, what did she like? How did she get out early, right? So Karen says that the reason that she was able to get out early is because to when she went for sentencing and stuff, she asked them like, what can she do to work on things, right? So they told her what she could do, and so she says that when she got, oh, okay. So she says that, okay, this is my friend that was texting me. I was like, who the fuck is this? So she says that, when she got to jail, right? She says that this is what threw me for a loop with Karen. Karen said that she worked in the jail. She said she worked as a person for NA and Alcoholics Anonymous, and I was with Andy. How in the hell can you do that, Karen, when you are literally just coming in here for alcohol and drugs, and you want to help and mentor these girls? Baby Karen, there is nothing that you can say to me. And then she told the girls, like, it took me 60 years to get here. And I would have said, exactly, it took you 60. I'm still in my prime, like in my 20s and my 30s. So you need to be having a conversation with yourself, asking yourself, why are you here? You can't, there's nothing that you can mentor to me. And that's always been my problem with Karen, is that Karen has that 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 air about herself. Because remember, season 1 of Potomac, she did it with Ashley. Granted, that should have been a lost cause in and of itself, Ashley Darby, right? So she did say that in jail she was able to pinpoint her trigger, right? And her trigger was her assault, and it caused her to shut down. Now, initially I was thinking to myself, I'm like, Karen, I kind of feel like you are using that as an excuse. But then I had to think about it. We and I was putting myself in Karen's shoes, and I was like, no. And I had to take when I was thought about it, I'm like, I'm not putting myself in Karen's shoes. I'm thinking from my points of view. Because with my assault, I didn't shut down, right? But I didn't tell anybody about it. There are a few people that I told about it, but I didn't tell anybody about it. What I did was I kind of moved on with my life, but it did trigger me in certain area. It did trigger me at points. And then for a long time, you guys have heard me say that I blame myself for what happened to me, right? So, but then I had to think about it. I'm like, it may be different for a woman as opposed to me being a man. And so I had to take that out the equation to be like, okay, I'm gonna give Karen grace with that. Maybe that is, that very well could be something that she was coping with and masking with alcohol. And then you introduce the drugs, the prescription drugs, that is. And so so I was like, okay, Karen, I'll give you that, right? You say, I am really enjoying your review. Thank you. And you can't say you're an alcoholic when Andy asked. That was my thing with Karen. It's like when Andy asked her if she's an alcoholic, she says no. But then she says she has an addiction, and she mentions the alcohol. I was like, well, Karen, you are an alcoholic. But again, I still think that Karen is in denial. I don't think that Karen is yet ready to admit it to herself. Again, I think it's easier for Karen to talk about the prescription pills as opposed to the alcohol. I think that's a lot easier for Karen to say. So, because here we go. Because I said she said she had an addiction issue to the pills, but not to the drinking. No, Karen, you have an addiction issue to both of them. So she talked about herself. Now, Karen, girl, not a soul in that prison or in the outside world believe that you have a cycle. I'm sorry, Karen, but girl, don't nobody believe you got a cycle. Not in no big. What? How old is Karen now, you guys? What, 62, 63? She about to be 63, right? Or 62. However the hell old Karen finna be in her 60s, girl, no one believes that you are still having a monthly visitor at your big grown age. But okay, Karen, I think they just gave you those pads to just appease you. That's it. So Andy then showed her the clips from last season's reunion. And you guys remember the things that were said at last season's reunion where Ashley was questioning who was in the car with her. So Karen was like, I don't understand the question that Ashley's asking, but they showed the footage of the video of the dash of the body cam from the officer, and you and Ray were both sitting there saying that there was somebody else in the car with you. Do I believe that there was ever anybody? Did I ever believe that somebody was in the car with Karen? No. The way that that car was beat up, and then the car caught on fire. Girl, there is no way somebody was in that car with Karen. Because let's be for real. The way Karen was looking, if somebody was in that car with her, that person must be bionic. Because how the fuck can you walk away, run away, jump away, skip away, fly away from that accident scene with her car looking like that? And again, that is set on fire, and how she was wobbling. Mm-mm. Wasn't nobody in that car with Karen. Uh, you say Karen blood is stale. Oh God, Karen's blood is stale and rotten. Oh wow, I wasn't expecting that. She's 62. She's a year older than me. Okay, yeah, not, but that shit was funny. Stale and rotten. Okay. Um. So Karen says after that, what did she say? Where we at? So she was talking about. Oh, I talked about the pads and whatnot. So we're addressing Ashley, right? So she said she didn't understand what Ashley's question was. Ashley's question was literally who was in the car with you, but again, nobody was in the car with her, right? So then they also talked about the fact that they showed the clip of Ashley saying that she was on the train up to the reunion last year, and there was a person on the train with her that was saying to her that Karen used to would come into the bar and drink all day and rave, and she would get drunk and just basically they drink, right? And so Wendy, remember, Wendy was like, "Yeah, that's what I was gonna say." So Karen says that Ashley is correct, but that was 20 years ago. Karen, no, ma'am, that was not 20 years ago. That was last year or very recent. As much as it pains me to say this, hell, even Sharice made mention of you getting drunk at the bars. And it sounded like Sharice was saying very, and when Sharice was saying it, Sharice wasn't saying past tense. She was saying it as if it was currently going on, right? So then Karen says, who's talking to Wendy who lives in Timbuktu? Girl, I don't give a fuck if she lives in Timbuktu, Africa, Ghana, um, the North Pole, South Pole, East Pole, whatever. I don't care where she is. I do believe somebody told Wendy the same thing, right? But you just wanted to not, give validation to Wendy for whatever reason, right? And we'll get to that in just a minute, right? So Andy then showed her the clip of Wendy, how upset Wendy was that she didn't thank her at the reunion last year, right? So Karen says that she and Wendy they had a real true friendship, and she feels like the friendship is worth them having a conversation. But she says Wendy does know why I didn't address her, right? So I want to get to Chuck's comment. Wasn't she on the phone with her cousin? Maybe her drunk ass hallucinated. He was with her. I think she was on the phone with him prior to the accident. Yes, I do believe that is what was said. So she then talks about the fact that the ladies did reach out, try to reach out to her while she was in prison, Giselle more specifically. But she said that she just wanted Ray to give them all the same response, right? And that she was only seeing family. And I was like, okay, cool. Now, where does Cookie's big ass come into this equation? Oh, she might have been getting information from Ray. Okay. Cause I was about to say, where the hell does Cookie's big sweaty mustard demon looking ass come into this equation? But there we go. Right. Um, so she said the only person who didn't reach out to her was Wendy. And I was like, are you surprised? Like you didn't thank her. You basically gave Wendy your ass to kiss in that thank you message. So if I was Wendy, I'd say fuck you too. But hey, it is what it is, right? So the last thing that we can talk about, and then we're gonna get out of here. And see, this is 30 minutes. It was, this is the first episode this season. I think I can say that I was not like irritated, upset, and frustrated. I was a little frustrated because I just felt like Kieran was talking in circles, deflecting, and also I don't feel like she was avoiding questions, but I think she was just deflecting. But you guys can let me know what you think and feel. So Andy asked her, like, how do you feel about the fans who feel that you should not come back to the show, right? And Karen says that, she can't say that she deserves to come back to the show because she hasn't really proven herself, right? And I was like, that I can actually agree with Karen. Because, everybody is screaming, bring Karen back, bring Karen back, bring Karen back. But for what? Because, and you guys know how I've been feeling about Karen since last season. And even this, like, you guys know how I've been feeling about Karen. Karen played in everybody's face last season when she kept saying she would be vindicated and with her day in court. But then that video footage came out and it showed the complete opposite of Karen being vindicated, which I knew last season that Karen was lying, but I didn't think Karen was lying to that extent. I didn't think Karen was lying that fucking badly, right? So she says that she doesn't feel that she's earned her way back on the show. And she also says that, because Andy was like, how do you feel about the show? Like, do you feel like the show caused all this? She was like, no. She says she feels like if it weren't for the show, that it probably would have happened a lot sooner than what it did. And that leads me to believe that Karen was doing Karen. Here's what it feels like to me. Karen is a functioning alcoholic and a functioning pill addict, right? That's really what I'm getting from it. Because I feel like Karen was probably doing this throughout the seasons. She just wasn't doing it to the excess. And I feel like when cameras go down, that's when Karen gets heavy into it, right? I think that's when it is. Because if you notice, we've never, only time we saw Karen get like belligerently drunk is season 5 when they were at Monique's lake house and she took them fireball shots, right? That is the one time that we saw Karen get like sloshed. And that wasn't even on camera. I think the cameras had went down that night when they caught that footage of Karen drunk. So I think that Karen is, I think by all means, she's a functioning alcoholic and a drunk, functioning alcoholic and a pill user, right? And so it meant, she was able to probably do her little 1-2 while she's filming, but then once filming goes down, the cameras go down, she gets back into her normal regular habit, right? Because again, everything that we've heard about Karen, we've never seen it on the show. We hear it through Robin, we hear it through Charisse, we hear it through Ashley, whoever else, right? We've never seen it on camera again, except for the season at Monique's lake house. Uh, you say Karen clearly had a facelift or Botox. Her face was extra tight and smooth. I think Karen had already had a facelift, but she probably had a little Botox, but because this is 1 week after she got out of prison, so she probably had some stuff done. Key one, you say I'm guessing fans want her to come back because she did her jail time. I mean, that's more than like what it is. If Bravo back, if Bravo brought back that, what is it? About know what you're talking about, Teresa. Then Karen. I mean, here's the thing. Here's the thing I'm gonna tell you guys. I don't have an issue with Karen coming back. I just hope that Karen comes back with a different attitude about herself. Right? Please drop that grand dame. Please drop the grand dame because we now know that the grand dame is a facade. Right? We know that that's a facade. But for me personally, I'm okay with Karen coming back. I'm fine with it. I don't have an issue with it. But I know that there are a lot of fans out there that don't want Karen to come back. And I saw it on Twitter. There are a lot of people that do not want Karen back on Real Housewives of Potomac because a lot of people feel that Karen lied and played in people's faces for a very long time, right? Because again, a lot of people defended Karen against Robin and Charisse. But I think a lot of people defended Karen against Robin and Charisse because people don't like Robin and Charisse. I think that's one thing. A lot of people just don't like Robin and Charisse, and so they were able to defend her against those two women because fans don't like those two women, right? I never so, and I can only speak for me, right? I never had an issue that they called it out. The only thing that I had an issue with Robin and Charisse about calling it out, it wasn't in a sense to help Karen. It was always to bring Karen down. And that was always my issue with Robin and Charisse. That was always my issue with Robin and Charisse. Y'all always did that in a way to drag her down. Like that was always my issue. But other than that, I'm okay. I'm really truly okay with Karen coming back to Potomac if that's what she wants. If that's what she wants, and that's even if that's what she wants to do. Because no, I don't. To my knowledge, no offers have been extended for season 11 of Potomac. Now, like I told y'all, please do not ask me to review season 11 of Potomac because it will the fuck not happen, right? Not even if Karen does come back. I can't. I just can't. But yeah, overall, did I get anything from Karen? No, no, not at all. I got nothing from Karen. Nothing from Karen. Besides the fact that I think she's in denial about her alcoholism. And I think once Karen tackles that, Karen will be fine. She'll still be a liar, but she'll be fine. Oh, Chucky, please don't. Please do not. Do not. Do not. Please don't ask me for that. Please don't ask because that reminds me. Oh God, that reminds me when people every season when Basketball Wives will get ready to come back. You gonna review Basketball Wives, JB? You gonna review Basketball Wives? Absolutely the fuck not. I don't want to review that stupid ass show. Like I oh God, Chuck, please don't. Mm-mm. Please don't ask me about Potomac. It ain't happening, Captain. Mm-mm. And then we got a 3-part reunion to get through. Fuck, like a 3-part reunion. And then I saw the trailer for the reunion. I'm like, oh my God, this seems like it's gonna be a Stacy and Angel reunion. I don't want to see that. And the reunion starts next week. Oh God. Oh, so also you guys know that I won't be so next week with the reunion. I don't know how it's gonna work for me because y'all know when it comes to the reunions, I watch them the next day on Peacock so I can see the extended version as well as hear the cussing. So I'm gonna be on my way back to Dallas from Atlanta at 9:15 on Sunday, and I won't get back home until I think it's 11. I think actually let me look and see what time my flight doesn't come back home. I don't land in Dallas until about 11 or close to midnight, I think. So I don't really know how we're gonna play it next week when it comes to the reunion. It'll still be on Monday, but I just don't know what time next Monday. Can't give you a time right now. Because again, I'm gonna be flying back to Dallas at that time that it comes on. Actually, I'll be at the airport when it comes on, but again, I'll watch it on um Peacock the next day for the cussing. Oh, I know the show is gone. Thank God. Well, not thank God. I know the show was gone because I talked about it Friday. I know Basketball Wives, or as I think it's Alex calls it, Hoop Dreams and Heifers, something like that. The Hoops and Heifers is gone, baby. The Hoop Dreams and Heifers are gone. Thank you, Kiwan. But yeah, you guys, that is all I got for Karen. Overall, she looks good. I will say that Karen looks amazing. I just want her to, stick with therapy if she's in therapy. Stick with therapy and all that kind of, and stick with AANNA. You need both of them, Karen, not one. You need them both. Oh, thank you. I'm pretty sure I will enjoy that trip because, y'all know it's Scotty's birthday this weekend. It's his birthday weekend, but his birthday is next week. So we gonna see how this goes this weekend. But I know it's gonna be fun. But yeah, you guys, that's all I got. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. You guys turn on your post notifications, and also share the video. And until the next time, do me a solid favor, you guys. Stay safe, take care of yourselves, wash your hands, be blessed, and I will see you guys later. So, Married to Medicine. I'm debating if it's gonna be a live tomorrow or if it's gonna be a pre-recorded video. I'm not certain because I don't know what the episode gave, but I know what happened outside of the episode that we can talk about. So that will be in that will be discussed in the video if it's a live or a pre-recorded. What happened Sunday night where King revealed that he and Quad broke up, we will discuss that. We absolutely will discuss that. But I'll catch you guys in the next one. Until then, you guys, again, stay safe, take care of yourselves, wash your hands, be blessed, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, y'all.